Welcome to Q&A practice. Let's start with a little warm-up, and we'll start with defense attorney. Ready? Here we go. Where were you? I was outside. Have you had any alcohol to drink in the last 12 hours? No, I haven't. Have you had any medication? No, I haven't. Have you had any drugs? No, I haven't. Let's get back to your high school experience for a minute here, okay? You played football in high school with Mr. Lewis? Yes, I did. That's at Fullerton High School. That is correct. Did you play all 4 years? Only in my senior year. Why was that? Jack wanted me to try out, so you tried out and got picked in your senior year. That is correct. Had you ever played before? Only after school. You had a fairly large class, correct? That is correct. And yet you were picked to play in your senior year? That is correct. All right. What position or positions did you play? I played fullback in your senior year. You were on the varsity team. Is that right? Yes, I was. In your junior year, you weren't on varsity. That is correct. But you and Ray play together in your senior year? Yes, we did in your senior year. Where were you starting for string and you hadn't played before? That is correct. Did Mr. Lewis also play football? Yes, he did. So you alternated? That is correct. Did you play any other sports besides football? No, I didn't. Did Mr. Lewis? Yes, he did. What position? Various positions. Did you play varsity your senior year because you wanted to? Yes, I wanted to play. Do you recall the incident that is the subject of this lawsuit? Yes, I do. What is your best recollection of the date of the incident? March 8th. And approximately what time did the incident occur? Approximately at 11:30. That's in the evening. Yes. During the rest of the deposition, if I refer to the incident or the accident, I am referring to that. Okay. Where did the incident occur? At the Malibu Grand Prix. Where was that? In Long Beach. What night of the week was that? A Saturday night. Did you play football that evening? No. Did you usually play football Friday nights? Yes. All right. Now, when was the last time you spoke with Ray about this incident? I talked to him yesterday. Did he tell you what to say? No, he didn't. What did he tell you to do? To just tell what happened? Did you discuss what went on in his deposition? No, we didn't. What else did you discuss about the deposition? He just told me that you asked questions. Did he mention what questions? No, he didn't. How long was your conversation? About 10 minutes. Did you discuss anything related to the deposition? No, not really. We just talked about school. Right. Some more practice, and we will start with plaintiff attorney. Ready? Here we go. How long did you know Mr. Gaines? He was my neighbor for many years. How many years? I don't know really. Probably about 20. And did you go to the same school? Yes. And what school was that? We went to Tustin High School. And that was in Tustin, correct? That is correct. And how old are you? I am 20. Mr. Gaines is also 20. Yes, he just turned 20. Were you born in Tustin? Yes, I was. Did you ever live in Long Beach? No, I didn't. But you are going to Long Beach City College, correct? That is correct. Where do you presently reside? Tustin. And do you live there with anybody? Yes, I live with my dad. Do your parents live together? No, they don't. Do you have any present intention of leaving school? Not at this time, no. Did you go to high school with Mr. Gaines? Yes, I did. Where did you go to high school? As I said, we went to Tustin High School. Did you graduate at the same time? Yes, we did. After you graduated from high school, did you go right to Long Beach City College at the same time as Mr. Gaines? Yes, we did. So when did you begin? Actually, we both went to summer school after we graduated. You both went to summer school? That is correct. All right. And you are still there? Yes, we are. And how many semesters have you taken then? 4. Have you taken some time off? No, I am ready to graduate, so you probably will finish before Mr. Gaines, correct? Yes. And why is that? He had a knee injury, so that set him back, correct? That is correct. And what are you taking? I am taking business. Is this your final semester? Yes, it is. Did you also work with Mr. Gaines? Yes, I work at the same place. Will you finish your AA before him? I believe I will. I'm having trouble with one class that might keep me back. Anyway, you will finish your AA soon. That is correct. Will you be applying to college to go on? No. Why is that? Because I'm going to work with Sam. What is that? I'm going to work with Sam in his father's business. And what business is that? Heating and air conditioning. Is that what you are doing now? Yes, I'm doing some accounting now for him. All right, so that's what you are doing now in the way of employment. I work both places. You also work where? At the same place as Sam. I work for James. You also work for James Inc. That is correct. Where are they located? In Long Beach. Do you know the address? No, I don't. How long have you been working there? We both worked there for about 2 months. How many hours a week do you work? About 20. What did you do there? I do their books and office work. How did you get hooked up with them? Well, Sam got me the job there. Did he know someone? Someone got him the job. Okay, do you know who that someone was? No, I don't. All right, now Mr. Gaines' father's trade is heating and air conditioning. Heating and air conditioning, correct. Is he the owner of the company? No, but he has a good job there. Some more practice. Here we go. Start with plaintiff attorney. What does that photo depict? Depicts a back seat with a packet of cigarettes in the middle of the back seat. Anything else depicted in that photo? A round in the seat of the car. And what is that round? That is the round that I recovered, or it appears to be the round that I recovered from the seat of that car. Okay, now what's been previously marked as People's 8 for identification. What's depicted in that photo? The rear floorboard behind the driver's seat of that same car. And in regards that the rear floorboard behind the driver's seat, what was recovered from that general area of the 2 beer bottles and the liquid inside of them. Now I'm going to show you what's been marked and identified as People's 5 for identification. Do you recognize this bag? This is the bag that I placed one of the cotton wicking materials into. Will you please remove that item? I'm taking out a clear sealed plastic bag with some cotton wicking material inside of it. Okay, and how do you recognize that item? I numbered it 1. The clear plastic bag as being the wicking material I removed from the bottle, which I labeled number 1, was where was the cotton wicking materials when you first observed it? It was stuck half into the open mouth of the bottle. Okay, you can return. I'm not sure whether or not you answered this before or not. What was the position of the bottles? As they were located in the rear floorboard area. One of the bottles was standing upright rear side of the car. The other had fallen over on its side in the rear floorboard. Now I'm directing your attention to People's 6 for identification. Do you recognize that particular bag? Yes, it is another evidence bag, which I marked on the night in question. Please get the item from inside the bag and all as you can recognize that item. I do. It is another clear plastic bag, which I marked, which I removed from the bottle, which I labeled number 2. And it was inside the bottle in the same manner as People's 5. That's correct. It was half in and half out of the bottle. Okay, you can return that item to the bag, please. Now I'm going to show you what's been marked and identified as People's 7 for identification. Do you recognize this bag? Yes, I do. It's another brown paper bag into which I placed evidence on the night in question. Please get those items from within the bag. Okay, I have 2 Bud Light beer bottles, which I marked number 1 and number 2. Now, in regards to the bottles as they are in court now, is there any change in their condition from when you first observed them? Yes, there is. What's changed in condition? When I first observed them, they were about full of, I think, white cotton wicking material sticking out of the open mouths. Okay, and what happened to the gasoline material? I poured a sample from each bottle, which I labeled and identified it and admitted into evidence. The rest was disposed of. Okay, you can return the beer bottles, put them back in the bag. Your Honor, I don't have any further questions. You may cross-examine. Officer, when you arrived at the scene, did you open the car door? No. All right, and we'll start this practice material with plaintiff attorney. Here we go. Ready? Was he collecting any type of disability insurance for his injuries from any of your insurance companies? Not that I recall. I would have to check, so you wouldn't know if he had a claim against a particular employer? No, I wouldn't. Does Eastern Air Cargo sound familiar? Eastern Air Cargo? No, it doesn't sound familiar. Are you familiar with that company? No, I am not. Did you know that Mr. West had worked as a service mechanic? I didn't know that. Did you know that he was a train mechanic? Yes, I did. And how did you know that? He gave me some advice on my truck. Did he ever work on your truck? No, he didn't. When did you find out that he was a train mechanic? I believe that he told me that shortly after I sold him the first policy. Was he a mechanic at that time? Possibly. I think he was. Did he own Pearl Coach at that time? That I wouldn't know. Do you know when he went into business with his brother? That I wouldn't know. Did you insure any of his other businesses? There was one other business. What business was that? Staffing. Did you insure that business before or after the limo business? I think he sold the one to get the limo business. Are you sure about that? No, I am not. So he was an owner of this business also? Yes, he was. Let's see, he owned two businesses at the same time. I am not sure. He might have sold one to get the other one. By the way, who ran Pearl Coach? I don't know. Did Mr. West run Pearl Coach? He worked in the office. Did you ever see him do any heavy lifting? No, I didn't. Was Pearl Coach a corporation? Do you know? I'm not sure. I would have that information in my records. Do you want us to send over for those records? No, not at this time. Do you know who the owners are now? I suppose Mr. West and his brother. What is Mr. West's brother's name? I think it's Bruce. Do you know how many owners there are of Pearl Coach? No, I don't. Would your records tell us this information? Yes, they would. What did the insurance checks from Pearl Coach say? The checks used to pay the insurance. I don't know. They weren't given to me personally. Were any checks made out and given to you at the beginning when the insurance was purchased? I don't recall that. You don't recall seeing any checks from Mr. West? No, I don't. Did Mr. West send his checks to your office? He would have sent it to the insurance company that he purchased that insurance from, and you wouldn't remember who that might be. That is correct. I would have that in my records. Did Mr. West or his brother sign the checks? I don't know. I didn't see the checks at all. Did Bruce work at Pearl Coach at all? I don't believe he did. At the time, did you know that Bruce was an owner? Yes, I did. Do you recall when you found that out? I think that I knew it from the start. And that will conclude our Q&A practice.